I'm Dale Smith for Loonie Politics, and this week in the election, it was debate week. We had the two main commission debates, as they are known, the English on Monday, the French on Thursday. The English was a hot mess of people talking over one another and no coherence and a badly executed format, whereas the French one took some of the lessons from Monday, made a more coherent format, had less crosstalk, and was a much more pleasant viewing experience. In terms of debate outcome, Justin Trudeau managed to basically hold his own and didn't come away wounded, which is probably the best thing you can expect for an incumbent. Andrew Scheer didn't really gain any ground and spent most of the time trying to wedge in one-liners that he was hoping to use for social media clips. We'll see how well that really translates in the next few days. Jagmeet Singh really kind of upped his charisma, and while he was still talking in canned one-liners, they seem to resonate with people a little more. There's been a lot of buzz around it, so we'll see if that can translate into anything. However, the NDP's lack of real organizational capacity right now could be what hampers their ability to turn that debate performance into actual votes. Elizabeth May spent her debate time mostly pleading for a hung parliament so that she can get an outsized level of influence in a potential post-electoral situation where she thinks she might hold the balance of power. I don't know that we'll see any math that will reflect that, but that was necessarily her pitch to voters. Also on the stage were Maxime Bernier and Jean-François Blanchet from the Bloc, and as they tend to do, they largely acted as spoilers through the evening, and Bernier in particular used up far too much airtime for what he's basically bringing to the table. The only other real development this week was the fact that the Conservatives outlined their immigration and refugee platform. And it's one that has been building for a while. It's a lot of talking points that have been used for the last 3 or 4 years. And it culminated in a policy that is not feasible and will be nothing but problems going forward. Their plans to somehow close the loopholes in the Safe Third Country Agreement are something that they can't do unilaterally. It would require the cooperation of the Americans. We are with an administration who does not seem to be particularly inclined to keep asylum seekers within his own borders, and I'm sure is quite happy to see them transit onto Canada. So that makes the job that Scheer is proposing to do a virtual impossibility, along with the fact that the other notions about how to keep these refugee claimants and irregular border crossers out of Canada would probably drive them to even more remote crossings, and we would have less control over that kind of entry than we do with kind of the setup that has happened at Roxham Road in Quebec currently. So it's one of these things where we need to remember that what's on offer is not necessarily feasible. Implementation matters, and that should be one of our key watchwords as we head toward the election. Implementation matters. For Loonie Politics, I'm Dale Smith.